Anyway, hate to be a little drum, but I just, I've been watching a couple of news articles this weekend and last night, and the country's really getting crazier and crazier. So, and I'm saying the same thing in hopes to get people's attention, because we need to have a united middle class. A united and healthy middle class creates a strong America. And you have to listen to who wants that to happen and has ways of making it happen. And then we need to vote people in and vote people out according to their strengths or weaknesses. And it's going to take some time to do, to get finally a handle over our political system, because we have no handle over this. And the founding fathers gave us this. We owe it to them. They weren't perfect people, but and they were elites, but they at least saw that this country, the middle class of this country, needs to run the important issues directed by our politicians. And just like you have a head of a company and you have the crew of a company, if that's not going right in a company, one or the other, that company goes out, right? Well, this country is much, obviously a whole different scenario, but it matches a bit, because we're on the way to communism right now, or socialism. And there's just no getting around that fact that either we come together and we pull together and we look out for our neighbors and we talk to each other and we do those things that our founding fathers gave us the freedom to do, or we don't have a society anymore. Anyway, we're going to start getting this down. I'm still working on some lighting. Barbie's moving to California, so she's going to be producer Barbie remote. But I think we might be able to get her on camera this way. So with all of that said, you guys have a great weekend. Say hi to each other. Go out and say hi to somebody. Just wave at them, man. Start that way. Just wave at them. Every time you see them, wave at them. You don't know them. And then you'll see the reaction change, evolve. You'll see the body language evolve. Go out and say hi to a couple of people today. Anyway, love you guys. Thanks for being here.
How you be, boys and girls? We already have a couple of people on. I appreciate you guys coming in and catching the opening of that. I'm going to start playing around more with the intro videos as well. I told you I want to do a little homage for producer Barbie. She's wow. Okay, a lot of people just jumped on. Hi, how you guys doing? Appreciate you being here. For those of you who missed the opening video, I'm kind of playing back into some of the politics of life. The original Inul Chowdhury, that was an investigative call session. He and I got to know each other and learn a little bit about each other. Looks like a awesome dude. I'm going to be on his show. I haven't scheduled it yet, but I'm going to shortly. So that's why I shifted it from the earlier time to this time now, because that was an investigative call, not a actual online thing. So what I want to do, one of the people of the show was kind enough to give me some ideas about some things that I do, and not just go into different discussions. I want to show some of the videos of the past. Shout out to Ronaldo on that idea. So I'm going to play with that a little bit. Let's see if I can go here. I'm going to camera 4. This is my my Instagram. So let's play a couple of these. These are some different commercials or some different social media posts for people who haven't seen these. Let me play some of these. Let me do this one first. Sorry, we're having trouble playing this video. Okay, well, that didn't work out as well as I had hoped. Let's try this one. This is a good one. This is where I'm doing the podcast out of. This is the library I talk about. Isn't that beautiful? There's the studio. This is the courthouse in Mangum. There's me at one of the churches I've been visiting. I've gone to several. I believe this one's the Catholic church in town. That I just won that picture. That's right by my house. This is a celebration. That was from my porch in my house. So I wanted to show that. Let's see if I can go back and play this one now. I think it might be. Here you go. At the lake, right by my house. There's Daisy and Boomer. So I'm going to go back and forth a little bit there because I want to show some of those and then I want to talk about some of the stuff that we're doing. And I just want to have a little. Oh, wow. We got all sorts of questions coming in already. I'm glad it popped back. Got 100 people on. I appreciate you all being here. Maria Perinza, how can the middle class regain financial stability in today's economy? Great question. I'm kind of chilly. Oh, hold on. I'm going to take this off. I'm going to put it back on. This is one of my favorite shirts. My son gave this to me for my birthday back in June. Eat, sleep, podcast, repeat. That's my life, man. That's what it's all about nowadays. Is you guys. So I'll get back into some of these other videos in a bit. I'm going to pick some out, but for now, I want to start answering some of these questions. How can the middle class regain financial stability in today's economy? That's a great question, and it's not just today's economy. I mean, think back a little bit, if you would, Maria. The bottom line is that the middle class has never ever been able to create generational wealth. I mean, few within have, but as a general sense, when you create wealth, you have a tendency to have kids that are raised in wealth, and then those kids take it for granted, and then they lose wealth, and then that cycle continues. But adding to that is the extreme taxation, the extreme regulations, the extreme situations that we have to deal with and have for over 50 years. It's very hard to become next level in today's economy. The economies of the last number of generations, it's a very challenging thing. But I'll tell you, I'm starting to learn that in this new economy, I think one of the best things that you can do is what my son is doing. One of them, he's creating multiple lanes or levels or multiple incomes that regenerate and repopulate and come back to you every month after month. What I'm getting at is start doing some side hustles. There's a lot of ability for people to generate income that isn't traditional. So, for instance, working on software is called Fiverr. For instance, one's like Fiverr, where you may have a certain talent or skill, and you can set up a little thing at your house and make $100, $200, $50, $20 by offering your services. You just set up the account. It doesn't cost anything to set it up or set up your profile, and then you start sending out, hey, I do video clips, or I do this, or I do that. That is, I believe, the path forward for us. In conjunction, we've got to get back. It got pushed out, and it got pushed out for a reason. It got pushed out because people were, I think, afraid. Doge is what I'm referring to. We get Doge back and active, and they start pulling out some of these things that are part of the $16.7 trillion a year budget, or that we spend in as our government spends our money. So a combination of things: getting a handle on the government, getting people voted that work for us, that don't work for themselves, that aren't lining their own pockets, that their mission is to line our pockets. There should not be a person below the poverty line in this country, especially when senators have budgets of $43,000 for furniture. Come on, there's a lot of ridiculousness that we deal with on a day-by-day basis. And until we get people voted in across the board, both sides, I don't care about red or blue. I'm an independent. I'm a registered independent. Just updated my thing here in Mangum, as a matter of fact. Hey, we got a couple hundred people on. Thank you for coming in. I appreciate it. We just went through Maria's question here, and we're playing some different videos from past shows or social media stuff that I've sent out. I want to play around with that today and see how that goes. The show that is described here with Inul Chowdhury, he's out of the UK. He has one of the largest podcasts, as I understand it, out there. Amazing story, this dude. He's got several businesses. I'm going to be a guest on his show. As soon as I set that up, I'll hit you guys up for it, because he's got some health things. So there's different things that he has to be able to deal with. He's got a child that's has a disability. So it's a difficult life all over the world. Seems like a great guy. Let's move on here to Jack. What's your view of the biggest challenge facing the working class right now? The government. That's always been the biggest challenge, and I'll bring it back. We're raised to be worker bees through our education. We're not, the school systems, they teach you how to take tests. They do not teach you how to manage your life. They do not teach you how to get ready for life. And that's what a school is supposed to do. So we're working on the regeneration school project, which is taking and putting in a fifth core subject. So you've got your math, your English, your sciences, your history, those that basic education. And then you have, in addition, you have, what do you call it? So those are your core subjects, and then you have your not alternatives, but your another subjects that you want to take as well. We are in the process and working towards developing oh, by the way, shout out to the that video I showed you. Let's go back to that. I'll go back to it in a second. That's why we're creating this regeneration school project. That pilot program is manageable here because it's a small enough town, and yet it's scalable for national. So we've got a long road ahead of us. We've done a lot of work over the weekend, a lot of help from a number of people. in how to get involved in getting the word around and getting support for here. First step is we're going to be doing October, November, December, at least one, hopefully a couple of events, or at least one event here at the Mangum Public Library. Thank you, Library Director Joseph. Great human being. And like I said, I'll go back and show you the school again, or the library again. Here, actually, let me just pop that in right now. I think we want to go this one. Nothing like a mom to protect her kids, huh? That's just that right there is the library. That's the Mangum City Library. I'm speaking to you right now from the underneath that first floor. That's at my house. This is the. Let's go back. Let's pause that, and I want to restart it. So let me X out of this and hit it one more time. I think I can pause that. So see right here where there's that ramp going up, and then you see that metal kind of covering over stairs that go down. Those stairs go into my studio. I'm staring at that exit door here. So that's where we're located, right in that corner. And we're broadcasting to you live every day, except for Sundays. We take Sundays off. And I've cut it down to managing to get it down to only one show per day. Two is a little challenging at times, especially with the edited hours here. Now, when I move up here into this one, this area right here, I'll be moving from this area to this area. There's some things that need to be prepared for there, but we'll be set up out of that. It used to be the community center, and now part of it is going to be our permanent studio. Probably within a month-ish, maybe. I don't know exactly when, but that's what we're looking at. Let's go back to some of these questions here, folks. I want to go back to this camera here, and so as far as the biggest challenge facing the working class is we need to challenge ourselves to create watch parties. And I hear it all over social media now. And it's really exciting to me, and I'm really happy about that. But right now, the challenge is getting people educated on what's happening in our country, both sides of the aisle, so to speak. It's funny they say that, both sides of the aisle, meaning Democrat and Republican. When they say both sides of the aisle or reaching across the aisle. There's actually three, though. There's an independent. I wonder why. I mean, I guess it's just because mainly people are calling themselves Democrat or Republican. So there should be actually three aisles, I would guess. We're getting close to 300 people on. I appreciate you, but let's get. Oh, by the way, Jack, thank you very much for your question. We need to get that dialed in. We need to get our politicians dialed in. The only way to do that is for us to become more educated and more informed and be better people ourselves. So that's why we have 4 lanes. We have financial lanes, meaning crypto to dollar bills to learning how to invest in the stock market to different ways of earning income. My son Brandon and I are going to start on the 14th going to be our first in a series of shows that go over life hacks, that go over making money in today's world, focused on these things. And when I say life hacks, I mean also growing your own foods. There's so many problems in this world. We can't trust the food that we eat. More and more people are going, quote unquote, off the grid when it comes to things like that. So there's a lot we need to do in order for us to not be so challenged in the working class, in the middle class. We should be able to. We are the backbone of the financial and the mechanical and the industrial. We're the backbone of all of those things for our country, and and yet we don't have the voice. We don't have the we have the power. It's just so diffused because of our own lack of efforts that we do not have the power we should in order to make things happen in today's world. Let's move on to Jeff here. How can schools better prepare kids for real world financial struggles? Great question, Jeff Lamb. Join the Regeneration School Project. I mean, we need that fifth core subject. We need 5 core subjects, meaning math, history, science, English. Let's say those are the four core subjects. Electives, that was the word I was thinking of earlier. But there needs to be a 5th core subject, and it's preparing for life, meaning counselors follow you all the way through school, from starting to continuing on. Then we within that class, the subjects, just like a math subject has different subjects every day and some homework, right? This class would be subjects based on you, personality tests, interest tests, meeting with your counselor on, say, there's 5 classes, right, in a week. One of those classes is devoted to meeting with your counselor. And in that activity, or maybe it's every couple of weeks, I don't know, I'm spitballing here. But when meeting with the counselor, you're going over results of things. You're giving the counselor, and the counselor's giving back feedback on how you want to direct. Is kindergarten, 1st grade, 2nd grade, very lightweight stuff. And then as you get older, that counselor, or hopefully the same one, if you're in the same school, if not, then other counselors from other schools pick up those records and take from there. This is how we develop ourselves as a country built better to be the best. Make America great again. Let's make the middle class great for the first time. We are great. We are the most forgotten, the most ignored, the most overabused group that there is. And the reason is because they're constantly able to divide and conquer, split people up between the classes. Oh, you know what? I wonder if I could do this. This is one of my medias. Gender, children. Let's look at these. Let's see if this will show up. Let me go to camera 4. This might not work as well as I'm hoping it will.
Parents grapple with the complexities of modern life. They find themselves confronted with a paradox. The very lessons they once imparted to their children now seem obsolete in the face of rapidly changing social norms. In the age of ride-sharing apps and remote work, the lines between stranger and friend, safety and risk, blur with disconcerting ease. Father and mother are no longer confined to rigid definitions. As the concept of family evolves, so too must our understanding of what it means to be a parent, a partner, and a provider. Perhaps one defined not by titles or roles, but by love, understanding, and mutual respect. Race, gender, and other relations have been something of a complexity, and it never had to be. Bold statement, true, but the relations between the races have again become a newer phenomenon in stress, which is a clever way of creating divisions within a large and powerful group. As the old saying goes, divide and conquer. Separate a large group by women and men, then spare them by the color of their skin. Then make up stories to make them fight against each other, easy peasy lemon squeezy.
Yeah, you feel that? That's exactly what we're
Hundreds
talking
of trillions of dollars coursing through our economic veins, there exists a pathway where no U.S. citizen needs endure poverty. Every child should be shielded from involuntary hunger and thirst. By eradicating greed and corruption, we pave the way forward. This chapter delves into the rationale behind our governmental expenditure and prompts a critical inquiry into how our leaders allocate our resources.
So there you have it. I mean, those are three of the intro videos that we do on that go into each show, just like the one. And let's spend a couple minutes on this one. Now, let me see if hold on before I do that. Let's go back and let's look and see if there's any questions I want to hit on right now, and then we'll go back and we'll do that video because it's about, again, what's going on in today. It was actually done over a year ago before this but all the same stuff is still happening. You'll see what I mean when we get into that. So let me come down here. Hey, Bradley Pump, I see you're on here, brother. I think I hit Jack Davey. What's the biggest challenge working in the middle class right now? It's always about the struggles that we have because of taxation, because of higher costs and all that. And that's all we ever talk about. But our biggest problem is that we have the wrong politicians. Some good ones, some bad ones, right? Some ineffective, some just corrupt. There's all sorts of things going on. We need to fix that. That's the bottom line. How can school prepares kids for the financial struggles? I'm telling you, we need to replace and repair, and regeneration school project needs to be involved in the fifth core. Clive Rude, how you doing, Clive? I think you changed your picture, it looks like. How do you balance mental health and the stress of making ends meet? Wow, you guys are nailing it on questions today. I love this. Wow. Yeah, I deal with that every day right now. I am working for free, and I'm trying to get it. And guys, please subscribe. Please support this channel. Please like. Please help us to get financially healthy. I'm not looking to make a $1 billion here, but I am looking to be able to be sustainable. When we're sustainable, I think it helps to make, it's like I say, a healthy middle class creates a strong America. And the world needs a strong America, especially right now. So balancing mental health with the stress, and that's the whole thing. What you have to do is start working on yourself, work within yourself, and create faith in your world. And I want to show you a video about that in a second after I do this other video. But create faith in your world, God. And I want to talk about that because we have 13 chapters in the book that created this podcast. What WTF happened when I was in my 50s, and 13 chapters. The 13th chapter is about religion. It's called Blinded by the Light. And I'll show you a video that answers to this. Somebody else's video. I've been spreading around social media, as well as other people are, but I'm doing my part because I believe it really hits the message, and I'll show you that in a minute. But balancing mental health with financial struggles is a difficult. Let me answered by putting it a different way. Those financial struggles are what create. 70% of humans, children and adults, the whole 70% struggle with some sort of mental health, suicide, attempted suicide, lots of thoughts of suicide, depression, isolation, on and on and on. That is added to by financial woes because we don't align ourselves with what's important with us. I'm guilty of the same. I'm not throwing rocks in a glass house. I'm saying I know of this because I am of this. I'm guilty of this. You got to find out what's important. What's your balance? What are your priorities in life? You know, what are the things that you could do? Not the commercialization of what we're supposed to be, but what do you want to be? And so you don't have to own all the little pebbles in the world to be happy. Maybe you do, maybe you don't. That's where you start to balance your own expectations with where you are, having the right partner in life. All of that comes together to create that. Branson Hill, how you doing, brother? Good to have you back. How do you stay motivated when it feels like the system is stacked up against you? That's the motivation, knowing that the system is stacked up against you. At least for me, because I'm on a mission to fight against that and to bring as many of us together from both sides of the aisle, from no matter what your pigment skin color is, no matter what your religion is. Talk about that in a minute. But let me play. I'll come back to you, Branson, after I play a couple of videos here. Let me play this one first. Where's my media? There you are. It actually is in the opening of today if you want to see it again later on. But I'm going to play this now. Go to 4. Oh, I want this one. Sorry.
Anyway, hate to be a little drum, but I just, I've been watching a couple of news articles this weekend and last night, and the country's really getting crazier and crazier. So, and I'm saying the same thing in hopes to get people's attention, because we need to have a united middle class. A united and healthy middle class creates a strong America. And you have to listen to who wants that to happen and has ways of making it happen. And then we need to vote people in and vote people out according to their strengths or weaknesses. And it's going to take some time to do, to get finally a handle over our political system, because we have no handle over this. And the founding fathers gave us this. We owe it to them. They weren't perfect people, and they were elites, but they at least saw that this country, the middle class of this country, needs to run the important issues directed by our politicians. And just like you have a head of a company and you have the crew of a company, if that's not going right in a company, one or the other, that company goes out, right? Well, this country is much, obviously a whole different scenario, but it matches a bit, because we're on the way to communism right now, or socialism, and there's just no getting around that fact that either we come together and we pull together and we look out for our neighbors and we talk to each other and we do those things that our founding fathers gave us the freedom to do, or we don't have a society anymore. Anyway, we're going to start getting this down. I'm still working on some lighting. Barbie's moving to California, so she's going to be producer Barbie remote. But I think we might be able to get her on camera this way. So with all of that said, you guys have a great weekend. Say hi to each other. Go out and say hi to somebody. Just wave at them, man. Start that way. Just wave at them. Every time you see them, wave at them if you don't know them. And then you'll see the reaction change, evolve. You'll see the body language evolve. Go out and say hi to a couple of people today. Anyway, love you guys. Thanks for being here.
There we are. Like I've always said, from the very first day of the show, say hi to people. Just reach across, say hi to somebody. Don't go get up all in their Kool-Aid or be weird or anything. Just, hey, how you doing? And like you said, you see how their day, their moment, you could see the vibe change. Now, with that, and what I was talking about earlier, I want you to listen to this, dude. Oh, guys, I messed that one up big time. Hold on. Sorry about that. Let's go back here. I did not switch back over. Let me X this out. Let me try it again. Let's do this right. You feel me on these things he's saying here, guys? I mean, seriously, this is the entire chapter 13. It's longer than this, but a couple more seconds. But you hear what he's saying here? There is something wrong in how religion happens. God is real. Religion is man-made. That's what I've always had a problem with. Let's go back to over here. Namaste. Namaste. All right. So I clicked off a little early there because I was going to impose something, but you know what? There's just so much in that little clip that's being said there. There's just so much power in that. And it's power because it's truth. It's power because it's real. It's power because it's what we need to answer all these things. I get so frustrated because, like you said, it's used to create wars. Religion is. It's used to divide people. It's used to. We're putting us in our own little boxes. Today, Mr. Chowdhury, he had a Quran sitting right here on the back channel. And I think it's just because we didn't get into any discussion about it whatsoever, but it wasn't something that, so all I could think about was that video when I saw the Quran. And the Quran is not what I'm pointing at. God is, because God's in the Quran. God's in the Bible. God, God is God. God's created everything. Religion is used to divide and is used for politics. That's it. I mean, that's got to be a correct answer. Help me, correct me, educate me, inform me. God bless Charlie. He lost his life because he was a Christian. And there's yesterday what's the one in Utah? A Mormon church. Some dude ran through it, crashed through the walls in his truck, shot a bunch of people, and then set the church on fire. Why? What? Why? I don't know. Do you? So let's go back. I think I skipped a couple here. I think we were Jeff here. So financial struggles, right? We talked about that. Clyde, balance mental health with making ends meet. Do you see a theme here? Why don't we have Doge back? Branson Hill, how do you stay motivated when it feels like the system is stacked against you? It's always going back to the same thing. We need to get the voice back. We need to come together, every different race and every different gender and every male, female, or trans, whatever you got to be. We need to come together and not fight for those individual things, but come together and say, okay, what's the best candidate for all of us? What is the best candidate? Okay, let's vote that person in. Let's vote that person out. Let's keep that person in. They're doing a great job. And they don't have to be specific one thing, because at the end of the day, live your freaking life, man. But you've got to be able to do it without the hindrances that our government imposes upon us, Branson. I mean, it's ridiculous how we have to live our lives because we allow other people to do what they're doing. We vote them in to basically strip us of everything we have. And that's most of politicians, at least in today's world, especially all of the extremists on both sides. The ones in the middle, you can start to hash out. I think everybody that's extremist on both sides, why are they still in there? Come on, people. Why is Oregon acting the way it's acting? What's your advice for someone? Oh, Bradley Pump. Thank you. Shout out to Bradley Pump. Hey guys, subscribe, like the videos, support me, please. Let me go back to this one here. Mental health and struggles, financial struggles. Jeff Lamb, please help me get this thing monetized so my mental health isn't added by the financial struggles that I've run out of savings. So it's time to start begging people for some help. We've had some great cash influxes that has kept us going for a little bit here. And thank you for that. I want to thank the library here for giving us a space and no rent, and the internet. I don't have internet at the house right now. I had to let that go for a little bit till I can afford, to keep my water on, my water and electricity. So I would love to not have to deal with those struggles. So Bradley, what's your advice for someone just starting to build financial resilience? Don't ever stop, man. Oh God, I have a really good video on this. But don't ever stop. I mean, that's the whole concept. You've got to keep going. You can't beat somebody who won't quit. I've wanted to quit a lot of times in my life. Sorry, this is breaking me up a little bit. Hey, I appreciate you guys. There's a constant 275-ish people here, and I really appreciate you being here and hearing all this all the way through. But don't stop, man. You can't be defeated. You can't lose if you're not stopping. You have to keep going. And there's going to be a time. What's the old saying? Well, I know the old saying. I'm gonna paraphrase here, but there's a movie I saw. Very awesome actor Samuel Jackson. Oh, love that dude. Was it Sam? Yeah, I think it was Samuel Jackson. No, I don't think it was. Anyway, he plays God, and very big movie a little bit ago. Noah's building the ark, right, and all that's going on, and the wife works in a cafe, and this. I'm sorry, she was at a cafe, and the actor, being God, wasn't announcing he was God, but the wife talked about how much trouble she's having with her husband being crazy and building this ark. And he went through a series of questions. And the bottom line is, if you ask God for patience, I'm being emotional right now. If you ask God for patience, do you think he gives you patience? Or does he give you opportunities to be patient? Be resilient, gives you opportunities to become a stronger and better person. Whatever your faith is, even if it's not, just know that God is there for his children, right? For us. And our challenges in life quite often are put in our path in order for us to become capable of that thing put in our path. And it's put there when we need it. Now, what we need to do is we need to praise God. We need to have faith. Well, we need to be spiritual in our beliefs because it does so many things. One, you have something bigger than yourself in the world. Like AA says, you need spirituality because you need something bigger than yourself in life. God, I don't know why this all of a sudden became a really hard show for me to do. Let's move on here. Bradley, I hope I got your just starting to build financial resilience. Keep going, man. Just keep going. Be smart. Don't overspend. All the things that I've done all my life, not being smart and overspending and so on and so forth. And it's, and then be smart about what you expect out of life, what you want. Push yourself, have goals, do that, do this, but make sure they're goals that you really do want. Have a good partner, right, in your life, whatever your wife or husband or partner, right? Be sure that person's going to bring you the most pain or the most joy you'll ever feel in your life. There's so many things you have to take a look at when you're running through stories like this. And Tony, how are you? Antone, what is the first step for someone who wants to get involved in local politics? Well, I ran for politics one time in Placentia, California. I never put a sign out. I never did anything. I just wanted to test the waters. It was funny. I did nothing except I went and I did an interview with the police. They were going to sponsor me, but I told them I wasn't putting any signs out or anything. I just wanted to get a feel for what politics felt like. This was, the kids were tiny. No, they were pre-high school. They were probably in the 5th or 6th grade, somewhere in there. The crazy thing is, I got 10% of the vote. I didn't get elected. I was nowhere close, I think there were 3 or 4 of us in the running, and I got 10%. I did nothing. So I would say the first step is, one, do you have an issue? Is there something you're passionate about in getting in politics? Um, I I I figured over time that politics, because look at how politics is right now. I want to affect politics. I don't necessarily want to be a politician. I mean, who knows? Who knows what the future holds? I mean, if something happened and it had to be that way and everybody wanted it or something like that, uh, I'll run again. But here, let me answer your question direct. Um, First step is have something, have a reason. I interviewed a lady, or interviewed. I had a discussion. I've had 2 ladies on that are um, moving in a political path, a career. They've both been on the show, and they both talked about this. Um, One thing I noticed is you've really got to have authenticity and a purpose. Reason is, it's like anything else. You're selling your service to people now, right? I learned this from sales, right? You've got to have an authenticity in it, because you've got to sell that concept, that idea, um, to be able to have people buy in on it and thus vote you in, so you can make your mark in the world of politics. So I would suggest, first step, define what it is. Right? If you want to, if that's what you're asking about there, or you're looking at more technical stuff, you got to register. You got to register by a certain date. You've got to set up. You got to do designs. You've got to create a team, and that depends on what level, local, national, in between, no, local, regional, national. House, Senate, there's all sorts of directions that have different, all sorts of levels that have different needs that you're going to need support with. Anita, how you doing, Anita? How can we encourage more open conversations about money struggles? That's an interesting question. That's a good question. Boy, that's a hard question, because it really depends on the person. So encourage more open conversations about money struggles. I'm assuming you're not saying me. I'm having money struggles, so I want to go out to a stranger and have a conversation about it. I assume what you're saying here, Anita, is that how can we have conversations so that people can get help, so that people can be more informed and so forth. This platform is very much all about that. That's one of the 4 core. That's one of the 4 core subjects that we get involved in. Let me try a couple other videos here. These are cool. They're all so cool. Let's see what Bill Maher has to say. I'm going to switch over to 4 and hit Bill. Yeah, so I'm going to go through some of these. You guys are asking questions that fit in. We had a discussion on Saturday about social media and the ills and the dangers of it. Very good points. I was with myself and my granddaughter Emmeline, and then we had another guest on that she's from Australia and was a school teacher, and so very interesting dichotomy as far as looking at the way things look, and we were talking about how there are challenges in social media. Here's the good stuff, watch. There's education in things if you look to what you want to learn, if you look to what is important in life. The internet is not a good thing unless you use it correctly. I'm reading one now where somebody sent me a message. It says, interesting clip here. I believe when we do lose someone, it's not the king, queen. It's not the king or queen. When we develop ourselves and face our shadow side, it's when we can step into the highest possible energy, and only then can we attract someone that is truly meant for us on the highest level. It goes two ways, and it never has to be spoken or actions shown. It's not as easy. It's not an easy journey, though. Makes me think of two films. Conversations. Let's see. I don't know if I've seen this one. Let's see what we got here. That's a whole film. Let's not do that. Let me come back here and let's look at this one. I think you guys will like this. So just a couple of things back and forth here I want to play with. But I want to go one more time back to God now. This is a really cool clip. And listen to, after about 10, 15 seconds into this clip, you're going to see, you're going to have a little bit of an aha moment. Let's go to it. Crazy, huh? Do you have that aha moment, guys? The whole world went all electric. It would take 30 years. So I'm doing this because everything we're looking at around us, if we want to see it, we want to pay attention to it, there's lessons to be had here. Let's go. Let's go to this one. I'll be back to your questions. So there you have it. Several subjects. I'm going to repeat this one more time. Well, let me check. Let me just make sure I'm not overplaying things here. Yeah, we're okay. We're up over an hour now. I want to replay the religion one. Then I kind of want to go through the rest of the questions and kind of wrap these different details because absolutely, social media's got its issues, got its things, but you know what? You can learn stuff if you just pay attention. right? So I can't say it any better than that. I say it all the time. Go say hi to somebody. Go enjoy yourself. Go make yourself better. Go improve who you are. Just have fun doing it. Say hi to people. Unity. Choose love. I'm going to have a fun one here. I think you guys will like this. I'll be back to your questions in a second. Ah, come on. All right, guys. So there you have it. I mean, it, it's about choice. It's about how you choose to run your life, to use your life, to expand on your life. How can we encourage more open conversations about financial struggles? Man, it's this and others like this is the platform. It's how we get that comfort level with becoming more than who we are. Thank you, Angela. Anita, sorry. Chris Hanna. Hey, you were on the show, I think, Saturday. What role does small business play in rebuilding the middle class? Well, small business really does employ most people, certainly in America, I think around the world. There's a lot of things. One, it's more opportunities to work in a certain environment. I don't think small business can ever. Well, I don't think it's there to rebuild the middle class, but it is the avenue that we need to have to take small business bigger, stronger, bolder, because most innovations come out of there. Some innovations come out of large companies, but a lot of innovations. I mean, innovations really, a small business typically is started because somebody else looks at something and says, I can do that better, or I can do this better, or I can make that food better, or I can, I know I can do better than that. So that's creating that energy. So that helps the middle class, just that enthusiasm, that energy, and that diversification of employers and products or services that you have the opportunity to move into. Clayton, how you doing, my friend? What gives you hope about the future of working class families? The show does. I mean, the fact that we have 277 people here in the middle of a work day from all over the world regularly is a very exciting chance and opportunity to know that people are hungry for this stuff, and that people are willing to invest back into themselves. Again, like the show, please subscribe. Help me get monetized, man. Just keep pushing. I'm a small business. We talked about the small business. I'm a one-man show, a one-man band, so to speak. So I hope to build this up to a couple of different people and employ a couple of people here from Mangum, and be able to get to that point. Before I do that, I've got to be able to eat regularly, and keep my internet on and my all those things. So it plays a big role, and it's for multiple reasons, and not the ones you would think of, because I think you're asking here, Chris, as far as directly, and I think to a degree, certain small businesses can definitely make direct input efforts. But I think the biggest effort is that each small business that's built or Oh, thank you, Ronaldo. Well, you know what? You made this. You gave me the idea to do this, and I think. Do you like the clicking back and forth with the videos? I'm trying to show a couple different things here. One, there's a lot of information out there, and two, and don't worry, Anita, I haven't, or Clayton. I'll get back to both of you guys. I haven't hit Anita's yet. Great live. Oh, thank you. Great live energy. Loving this discussion. And then thanks, Ronaldo. I'll leave that up for a minute. But I will go back to here and here. What gives me hope for the future is I think the tide is turning. I think people are starting to settle down from a lot of the craziness that we've gone through over the last probably 10 years. It's really been nuts with all the different things that the shiny objects that politicians keep throwing out at us. So we're distracted and we fight, Antifa is now kind of people's, I think in Oregon, Antifa kind of owns Denver. I saw somebody put a video out yesterday that said, "Hey, my message to Trump, we don't need you out here. See, look at this. This is the ICE facility." Freaking lady was just bald-faced lying. Now, fortunately, people are now calling people out for doing that because Antifa does their shit at night. They're cowards. They're not. And fortunately, I think they're going to be disbanded pretty quick. Did you see George Soros is sent out a statement yesterday because I think he's afraid. I think he's got some subpoenas on him. There is shadow government, folks. There is somebody behind the curtain. Wizard of Oz. There is somebody behind the curtain. They say there's 10 families that run the lives of 8.7 billion people on the earth now, and meaning that they basically have a world economy, and they're just trying to make it. This drive that's been going on, George Soros being one of them. And again, if I'm wrong, just come on, man. Let's have some discussions about that. But I listen to all the newses, the different news sources, and they're dramatically different. Same story becomes dramatically different. And what kills me is one side just talks about the emotion of it without any facts, and the other side, supposed facts. So it's still not easy to really decipher. So then it comes down, you have three brains. You have the brain in the head, you have the brain in the heart, you have the brain in the gut, and they all work together. The heart and the gut feed the head brain to release chemicals or release endorphins or release, do the synapses, and it's managing what to send to the heart to make that heart feel or react differently into the gut, because that gut feeling, right? So there's a very grounded, there's a very cooperative effort in your body between these things, and you've really got to use that, and you've got to use the information that you see so that you can make decisions based on bettering yours and or your families and or your neighbors or your community's lives. That's how we're going to get out of this stuff. Thanks again. Oh, by the way, thanks, Clayton. I appreciate that. I do have a growing excitement about the future of the great middle class. There's a lot of people that believe that we're in the times of revelations, that there's all. So, I mean, if that kind of stuff happens, then it's over. It is what it is. But I don't know if that's really where we're coming to yet. If the second coming is coming, so to speak. And I don't want to get into all that because now that's talking this man-made stuff again. I mean, I don't know that God's ever said, "Hey, I'm sending the different, the different people that we have as our leaders." They always talk in the Christianity. They always talk about Jesus, and the Son of God. Well, then there's the Quran and the. I'm sorry, I'm going blank. And then each one has their, and of course the Jews supposedly killed Jesus. So now the Quran, I forgot his name. Dang it. There's a whole thing that needs to go on about that we'll talk later. They need to get George Soros's kids also. I think there's going to be a whole bunch of people that are going to, there's a whole bunch of people that are, well, they've tried to kill Trump twice. That should tell you something. And then they killed Charlie Kirk. That should tell you something. And then they killed this, and then there's really something under the current that's driving all this, because I think with Trump's administration, I really believe this. I've always said trust but verify. And there's no reason not to trust so far, because the facts are the facts. The fight is against the good. I mean, why did we elected Trump? We, meaning the whole country, half the nation, basically, well, not half the nation, 7+ whatever million people voted for Trump, right? Okay. So when Obama, we went through this a little bit ago. I was a big fan of the Clinton administration. It was just a very fun time. Nothing really too bad happened. There was a little bit of weird stuff, and he was kind of a man that didn't do so good things. Some things that he did were not good. And so that was that. But let's go with Obama. I didn't vote for Obama. That doesn't make me a racist. I just didn't vote for him. I didn't think, being a senator for 2 years and then boom into the presidency, I didn't think that was qualifying enough. So, it was weird because then came Trump. So when Obama was in, I didn't vote for him, but man, I cheered him on. One, I love that dude is smooth as silk. I mean, I know how he got in. I just didn't think he was qualified to do it. Not because he was black, just because he just didn't have anything. Hope and change. My God, what is that? A president? That's his call sign. A hope and change. I was not a big fan. But once he was in, I was a big fan. I mean, because he's leading our country. I want whoever's in there to give them all the help they can, any support they can, because they're fighting for us. And so now, when Joe Biden was in, again, I didn't vote for him, but I voted for a lot of people, and I did vote on a split ticket the last several elections. But Jimmy Carter, I voted for. He was a horrible president, but he was a really good guy, really awesome guy, smart guy. His brother kind of screwed up with the beer and peanuts. I met his brother on the plane. He gave me a signed $2 bill. It's kind of funny, but his brother was kind of a cornball. But he was a good guy. Wasn't a great president, but so I voted for him. I don't think Nixon was before I wasn't old enough. I voted for Reagan. He was a good president, but afterwards I found out some things that very disappointing. I'm not a big fan of Reagan in the long run. And like I said, Obama, I was hoping he would be a very good president. He turned out to be the problems we're having now were on his watch, are on his watch. He to me opened the door for us to go down the rabbit hole of where we're going, and hopefully that the Trump administration is now pulling us back out of. Ronaldo, you're on fire. Obama was the first fixed election that was obvious. Oh, that's interesting. That's probably true. But I hadn't really even thought about that. When he was in office, the second term especially, he really did a lot of stuff that really set up for damage in this country. And that's, and, you know, so after a while, I wasn't supporting the things he was doing because none of it was for us. It was for everybody else. It was to create and aid the shadow government that we have going on. Well, folks, let me see if I can pull up another video or something. Let's see, anything here that maybe looks good. What is this one? It's 27 seconds. Stress doesn't come from financial struggles. Mindset. Let me see what this one. I don't remember this, but let's see. Yeah, that was a pretty good one. I like that. How do I get rid of that screen now? There we go. So, let's see. I should probably go to a couple of posts here. Let me do this, and then I'm going to wrap it up, guys. If there's no other questions, I'm enjoying this this little section that we're doing here. Let's do this one. Oh, let me go here. There you go. Let's do this one. And here, let's get one more. Let's see, which one do I want? So many here. Show all videos. I want to try this one. So there we go. Let me pull over onto the camera now. I'm riding a little bit blind, but if I come over here, okay. So Ronaldo, Obama was the divider in chief. That I agree with. That's what I found out. Now I was really hoping he'd be really kind of cool because there was a lot of reasons the country needed him at that time, a black man or a black woman, but the first black president is I mean, lots of successful, and it was like, okay, he was reelected and did well, and people crossed the aisles because the country needed him, and I think he stabbed us in the back, you know. No sound. Oh, do I not have sound now? You can hear it. We can't. Oh. Huh. Okay, so each one of those that I'm playing, I wonder why that does that. Well, that sucks. I guess I'm going to call that a wrap. So let's go up here. I'm going to leave it at that. And thank you all for being here today. I am your host. I am proud to be part of your your community. I am proud to be part of your tribe, and I'm proud to make all of this. So each commercial, okay, well, I wonder how I do that. Well, you know what I probably need to do? Here, I'm going to run a test. Damn it, that sucks. Hold on. I'm going to do this. Ronaldo, before I sign off, so that I know in the future how to go with this, tell me if this is working correctly. I mean, if this is giving you sound. Let me come back to where do I want to go? I want to go. All right. So I'm getting word back that that is not working. Although I don't know why, because I put my earphones around it. So Ronaldo, dang it. Well, screw it. I'm gonna get off that. I've got to figure out how to do that, because I thought if I go into camera 4, I should be able to. I thought the sound went through too, but apparently only the video does. So sorry, guys. I keep telling you, I promise you I'm going to get better. But so far, I'm trying new things that I haven't tried, so I'm not getting any better. A few people have dropped off. I appreciate you, those that have stayed on. I'm your host of Insights and Straight Talk. As you know, my name's Rod Duff, and I'm out.
Before you leave, if you'd like to watch another one of the podcasts, click the first link in the description. We love having you here, and we appreciate all your support.
And with that, producer Barbie and I are out.